For those of you who are joining my virtual coffee dates for the first time, I just want to welcome you and thank you for being here. I'm Jessica Smith. I'm the Peaceful Prof on Instagram. And the purpose of these virtual coffee dates is partly to hold me accountable to a morning routine that I have started while we've been in social isolation and quarantine. To hold me accountable, make sure that I do it every morning because it is a routine that helps to set the tone for the rest of my day. It, gets me a little bit more energized, more motivated. And, we've talked about in past virtual coffee dates the importance of routine, of consistency for mental health. And so that is also an aspect of routine that helps me personally. And so I thought that I would share my morning routine with you in case it inspires you to come up with your own morning routine or routine any time of the day that gives you just a few minutes to calm down, de-stress, feel a little bit more grounded, and feel a little bit more like yourself, because these are crazy times. They are ridden with anxiety, with frustration, with stress. For some of us, we're bored. Some of us were extremely worried. So these are hard times, and a particular, oh my goodness, I can't talk this morning, a particular form of hard times that I don't think very many of us have experienced before. So, because of that, I think that, trying out some new routines that are focused on self-care, that are focused on coping strategies and taking proactive steps to manage our mental health is always a good idea. So this morning routine is mine. And so obviously I'm not saying that you need to have my exact morning routine in order to manage your mental health. Of course not. Find something that makes you feel good. Find something that makes you feel healthier, that makes you feel more grounded, that relieves stress. So maybe that's exercise, maybe that's meditation or prayer, maybe that's deep breathing, maybe that's hiding in your closet to read a couple chapters of a book to get away from your family, what have you. No judgment here. So I encourage you to come up with a routine that will help you deal with these difficult times, because it has become a little bit cliched, and it's now a hashtag, and people say it almost flippantly, but it is true that self-care is not a luxury. Self-care is a necessity. Okay, self-care is not selfish, right? It allows us to be at our best so that we can give back and care for our loved ones and care for our community in ways that we just wouldn't be able to if we weren't properly taking care of ourselves. Okay, all right, I'll step off my soapbox. So my morning routine that I'm sharing with you all is to read a poem of the day and to pull an oracle card to give us a little bit of inspiration. So the poem that I'm going to read to you today is actually from a woman who I found on Instagram. She has an absolutely beautiful account full of inspiring words and beautiful art, and her name is Morgan Harper Nichols, and you can find her on Instagram. And this is a poem from her book Storyteller, and the preface to this poem, excuse me, got a frog in my throat this morning. The preface to this poem is for the woman telling a story to her friend on a morning walk. So that sets the scene. You may remember everything about this morning, or you may remember none of it at all. But if nothing else, it is good for you to have this space to walk it out and talk it through. Because far too often, the world has felt too big, and there was a time when you felt helpless, crowded, and alone all at once. But now you are here, and you know at least one person on at least one day who found at least one moment to walk, to talk, and listen. Because sometimes it's just these candid conversations in faithful morning light that remind us we are not alone and we are going to be all right. So it's Morgan Harper Nichols. You can find her on Instagram. She has a beautiful account. She has a book that is called Storyteller, full of her poetry and her art. I highly recommend you look her up. And I picked this because I think the ultimate message, those last few lines, I think are very encouraging and reassuring. We are not alone, and we are going to be all right. And that is true. Now, getting through this is going to be hard. It's going to take longer than we want, probably longer than we expect. But we are going to get through it, and we are going to be all right at the end. Hopefully we'll learn from this. Maybe we'll learn something about ourselves. Maybe we'll learn about, learn more about public health, right? But we are going to get through it. We're not alone, and we are going to be all right. So that's one reason I picked the poem. And I also picked the poem because I think it's almost nostalgic in the sense that it captures some things that maybe we did before we had to go into social isolation. And in this case, going for a walk with a friend to just enjoy the morning sunshine, to talk things through, to listen to one another, and just enjoy each other's company. And I think that's something that a lot of us are missing. We're missing our friends, we're missing our families. Some of us may even be missing our work colleagues. So I thought this poem was almost had a nostalgic feel for pre-COVID-19, when we were able to just go out and hang out with people and be with people and enjoy their company, to walk, to talk, and listen, as Morgan Harper Nichols says in her poem. All right, so that's our poem of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. The next part of my morning routine that I'm sharing with you all is to pull an oracle card. And for the past, several virtual coffee dates, I've been using this one deck called Crazy Sexy Love Notes by Kris Carr and Portka. Both of these women are on Instagram. You can find them. And so I shuffle the cards off camera because I'm terrible at shuffling cards. And I pull a card at random. And the card I chose today was Notice the Blessings. So we got a beautiful sky with monarch butterflies. Notice the blessings. And our card is telling us this. Gratitude puts us in a position of having instead of wanting, thanking rather than complaining. When we focus on what we already have and take stock of our blessings, we get more blessings. So what are you grateful for? Share it with yourself and with others. So notice the blessings. I think at a time like this, when many of us are cooped up and we're getting frustrated and we're stressed out and we're anxious, I think it's important to think about what we're grateful for, even if it's something really small, really ordinary. I think it's important to, as the card says, to take stock of our blessings, even if times are really, really hard right now. And for many of you, they are absolutely hard. Sometimes they're desperate, they feel impossible. But I encourage you to try to find one tiny, mundane, ordinary thing in your life that is positive, that you can feel grateful for, and to really honor it, pay attention to it, thank it, share it with others, and let that just little bit, that little moment of gratitude fill you up. So today, this week, really try to pay attention to those little blessings, those little moments of joy. A few virtual coffee dates ago, I read a poem that talked about unexpected moments of happiness. And so try to pay attention to your surroundings, who you're with, if you're cooped up with family, and see if you can kind of find one of those unexpected moments of joy. Oftentimes it's something that is truly unexpected. It's something ordinary, maybe something, during normal times you never would have paid attention to, but now that you've been cooped up and feeling the way that you're feeling, it looks different, it feels different. So pay attention to that and really express your gratitude for it. Even if it's just for a moment, it will make you feel good. And sometimes that's all we need to keep going, is just feeling good just for a moment, right? It feels relief, right? Helps us push through. So notice the blessings, right? And remember, as our poem said, that we are going to get through this. We're not alone, and we're going to be okay. All right. So I hope that you join me tomorrow. If you popped in late, no worries at all. You can catch the replay. I post these videos to an IGTV, and then eventually I get them into my highlights on my grid on my account, so that you can always watch the replays. And I hope that you'll join me Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. Mountain, 10 a.m. Eastern. And then on Fridays, I post directly to IGTV so that we could have a little bit longer together. So be looking for that on Friday if you're interested. So I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Take care of yourself, take care of others, be safe, and I'll see you tomorrow.